The children of banking nestled snug in their beds, but outside in the cold, veterans sleep in cars. Foster youth age out with nowhere to go. Single mothers stay awake, calculating, praying. Alice families open toys from charity drives and try to feel the magic while knowing the bills come in January. And the Grinch? He's counting his profits. The coal isn't just for the children of banking. The coal is what the vulnerable have been burning to stay warm while the system extracts everything that they have left. But here's where the story shifts. Welcome to Unlocking Commerce and Business. I'm Connie Davis. Like a lighthouse cutting through fog, this marketplace of voices illuminates where commerce systems break down and what's already working to repair them. We go deep into communities, exploring where pain hides behind financial systems, uncovering extraction patterns in relationships, blocks in money movement, and barriers creating economic instability for vulnerable populations. From survivors of economic abuse to system innovators, these conversations don't just diagnose, they point toward trauma-informed, human-centered solutions. Essential listening for collaborators, partners, funders, and changemakers building regenerative alternatives. Welcome to the era of restorative commerce. Now let's get into today's conversation. Today's episode is a little different. It's Christmas Eve. And if you're listening to this, you probably know me. I'm Connie Davis, the woman who speaks in metaphors, talks about emotions, commerce, and blockchain, and financial systems, both past, present, and future, as well as economic sovereignty in ways that hopefully make these topics feel a lot less like technology and more like human stories. And tonight I want to tell you a different kind of Christmas story. Not the one that we tell in marketing campaigns or toy drives. Not the one where everyone and everything wraps up neatly with a perfect little bow. Perfectionism does not exist. We're humans. This is the story about what happens after Christmas morning, about the systems that humans have built, that humans like me helped to build during my corporate career, and what they cost the people we say we're serving. The people that we say we want to meet where they are. This is a story about coal and conscience, about Grinches and elves, about magic stolen and magic reclaimed. So pour yourself something warm and let me tell you about the night before Christmas in the kingdom of Fintech. 'Twas the night before Christmas in the kingdom of Fintech, where bankers lay nestled with visions of deposits and checks, debit card activity, the children of banking, financial service workers, snug in their beds, while customer accounts danced like sugar plums through their heads. But what the bankers didn't know as they slept without care was the reckoning coming, the coal in stockings about to appear. Because they'd been naughty, not nice. But let me take you back first, to before that naughty list got so long. There was a time not so long ago when financial marketplace was communion. I was there. I spent 30 years there in that marketplace. When checks evolved into debit cards, people came to the table to learn together. Customers and bankers sat side by side talking about the change. When debit cards became chip cards, we all came together to solve the problem or the new opportunity of technology. The customers came back because they needed guidance. They had a new behavior to learn. They trusted us to help them navigate the swipe to the dip. When Apple Pay launched, that first digital wallet holding what represents our digital cards, people needed one another again. To learn, to participate, to figure out the dip to the tap. I was there for all of it, bringing banks and credit unions to the table with merchants through every technological evolution in those 30 years. And when it worked out, it was beautiful. The marketplace wasn't just about transactions. It wasn't just about profit. It was about relationship, about trust, about value exchange that went both ways. But then something shifted. Technology didn't just evolve, it decentralized. The silos became bigger, wider, and more further apart than ever. And decentralization in the hands of extractive systems. Extraction was the system that I hadn't seen from the inside. That became a mode of no contact. The digital transformation meant we were transforming into a place where relationship and trust and communion were lost. We were living in just algorithms now, fees, invisible rails, digital conversations, and instructions moving money away from the people who needed it most. The marketplace became a machine. And the people, the ones who used to trust, the ones who used to come to the table, who used to open up to their bankers in the branches, they got burned. We call them crispy now. The crispy people who live in deserts who can't get back in, who won't come back to the table, not because they don't want to, but because the table became hostile and desolate. 30 million bank accounts were involuntarily closed between 2001 and 2005 for a formula that identified excessive overdrafting. That's not an edge case. That's a system designed to extract, to protect profit and revenue and risk. So here's what I'm seeing now with grief, with clarity, with new eyes. The creators of Bitcoin, those early decentralized builders, they weren't just creating technology. I've been spending a lot of time with them, listening to their why, immersing with them in their heart and in their culture. They were sending a new message. They were sending us a message in Fintech, the TradFi people. A loud, clear, unmistakable message to the Fintech industry that got too big for its britches, that forgot the people. Enough. Your extraction has gone too far. The people are hurting, they are saying. The marketplace has become a slaughterhouse, they said. The communion has become consumption. We're building something different, and we want you to see. But we're going to prove it to you first. And they did. The little decentralized blockchain elves, busy in their Bitcoin and blockchain workshops, building new toys for the world. Not toys for profit maximization, not toys for gatekeeping. Toys for liberation. AI that doesn't extract data but empowers decisions. Intelligence encapsulated in locked data blocks, validated and verified by one human to the next. Protocols like Bitcoin that don't require permission from banks. Networks like Conduit, they think of it as the same magic dust that helps Santa's sleigh fly on Christmas Eve. Proves that gifts of commerce can be delivered in an equitable economic way. It proves that real-world assets, like the gifts in Santa's bag, can flow to economies around the world. Not in spite of technology, because of it, but this time designed differently, with different values at the core, because they figured out what the value of time is, and that the humbleness of the unit of account in one is the same across all of us. They were humbled at the act of mining value. But before we celebrate the elves and their redemptive work, we need to talk about the visitor that nobody mentions on Christmas Eve. I'm not talking about Santa. I'm not talking about elves. I'm talking about the Grinch. The one with the cold stone heart who steals the magic from under the tree the moment the first credit card statement arrives in the mail. The one who shows up with past due fees when payments are late. The one who invented a new kind of layaway. Not the kind that our parents knew, where you paid a little bit at a time and the store held on to your precious gifts until you finished paying. No debt, no interest, just space and no shame. We've forgotten how to hold space for one another. The new layaway is this: parents laying awake at night, hearts are pounding, staring at the ceiling, doing mental math. If I pay the minimum on the credit card, they're thinking, I can't pay the electric bill. If I pay the electric bill, the card goes to collections. If it goes to collections, my credit score drops. And if my credit score drops, I can't refinance the car. If I can't refinance the car, I lose the car. And man, if I lose the car, I can't get my kids to school and I lose my job. And if I lose my job, they take my kids. Oh my God. All because they wanted to create a little magic on Christmas. Let me tell you about the Christmas that nobody sees. The veterans with PTSD and no credit history because they were deployed during the years that they were supposed to be building credit. The foster kids under 18, the ones who age out at 18 with zero financial foundation, only a few parts and pieces of financial literacy classes in between the movement of home. Some with check systems flagged from accounts that were actually opened in their names by people that abused the system and their data. The single mothers scrambling, borrowing decorations from neighbors, asking churches for help, stretching credit cards already maxed just to create a little bit of Christmas for their kids. And if that's not enough, many of them picking up side hustles to sell pictures of their feet, pictures of their body, or giving up dignity by showing up on OnlyFans. The Alice communities, those are families, asset limited, income constrained, employed. That's a new acronym. That's the technical term, though, measured by United Way and Bank On. Here's what it means. They work full-time. Sometimes they have 3 jobs. And they still can't afford both rent and Christmas. They stand in lines at shelters. They wait for toy distributions from nonprofits. They go to food pantries just to get groceries. Food that doesn't nourish but depletes their bodies. They open gifts from corporate warehouse toy runs where volunteers spend hours once a year moving toys en masse, feeling good about themselves for one day. But what about the other 364 days? What about January when the credit card statement arrives? February when the overdraft fees compound? March when the account closes involuntarily and they're locked out of banking again? No different than they've been ushered and evicted from their homes, or their cars have been repossessed because they didn't have cash flow. The magic we gave them on Christmas becomes the debt that drowns them by spring. The Grinch isn't a person. It's a system. It's a system that inflates prices faster than wages can keep up, that infiltrates minds and destroys peace, that offers credit as the solution and charges them $29.99 APR. That encourages spending on sacred days throughout targeted ads, Christmas and birthdays, back to school, that penalizes people for using the credit that they were offered when life gets expensive, that extracts fees from the people with the least capacity to pay them. The Grinch has a cold stone heart because the Grinch is an algorithm. It doesn't care about the single mother who borrowed $200 for gifts and now owes $400 in fees. The algorithm that ties your hands as a financial service worker in those branches, on those systems, with the ability to do nothing unless you risk your job. The veteran who spends his disability check on Christmas dinner and can't make rent. The foster youth who got their first credit card at 18, maxed it out by 19 just trying to survive. The Alice family working 3 jobs, exhausted, who can't get ahead because inflation eats every bit of their raise. The Grinch doesn't care about the erosion of trust, you see, as long as he gets his. And here's the cruelest twist. Some of the gifts these families receive: bank-on accounts, financial literacy classes, community bank partnerships. They come from the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund. But are our people really empowered? It sounds beautiful, redemptive, empowering. But that fund, if it's coming from a Santa who controls, who shames, who blames, who closes their accounts before they can even get on their feet, it's a Santa who trickles money into the Christmas village with terms and conditions. You must bring him profit, not warmth. You must prove that you're financially responsible before you deserve access for the long haul. You must participate in his system or you get nothing. He doesn't care about the erosion of trust as long as he gets his cut. Those little pennies and those little dimes, they all start adding up. He funds his toy runs. Sure, sponsors the financial literacy programs, helps the nonprofits to empower the people, so they say. He gets the PR credit for serving underbanked communities in opportunity zones. But he's the same Santa who designed the system that created the underbanked communities. A sacred day, the birth of hope. That's what Christmas is. The celebration of light in darkness. We've turned it into Black Friday, into Cyber Monday, into January debt, and stepping over what the meaning of Giving Tuesday actually means, the value of nonprofits and the commerce that they serve in communities. It's turned into January debt. It's turned into February shame. March desperation for the people, while the quarterly reports show profit. And we blame them for poor financial decisions. So here we are, back to Christmas Eve in Fintech. The children of banking are nestled snug in their beds, but outside in the cold, veterans sleep in cars. Foster care, youth age out with nowhere to go. They stop in at a shelter and they pick up a tent and a sleeping bag and go sleep in the park. Single mothers stay awake, calculating, praying, or up late at night taking pictures of their feet and exploiting their minds and their bodies on a marketplace that exploits them. Alice families open toys from charity drives, and they try to feel the magic while knowing the bills are going to come in January. They try to forget just for a little while. And the Grinch, he's counting profits. The coal isn't just for the children of banking. The coal is what the vulnerable have been burning to stay warm, while the system that extracts takes everything that they have left. But here's where the story shifts. Because while the Grinch was stealing Christmas, while the extraction Santa was trickling controlled charity, and while the children of banking slept, the decentralized elves were working. They're not working in the North Pole, not in corporate boardrooms, not in systems designed for profit, in blockchain workshops, in computers, in their houses, in their garages. They're using those computers sometimes for heat, because the mission matters. It matters so that they can help to build something that the Grinch can't steal. They're building protocols where value can't be extracted by intermediaries, networks where people can store wealth without permission from banks and can move value in the form of real-world assets across systems where ownership is transparent and portable. AI tools that empower instead of exploit, that help us clear the noise and access the creative thought happening inside of us. And here's what they're saying to the veterans, the foster youth, the single mothers, the Alice families. You don't need the Grinch's credit. You don't need the extraction Santa's charity. You don't need banking shoes that don't fit you. We're building systems and tools that you can own. Systems that you can access, infrastructure that doesn't extract. This is what the Bitcoin population, the patriots, and the conduit network are building. Magical dust that ensures that every reindeer sleigh holding gifts, talents, and assets flies. Not the one controlled by the Grinch, not the one that trickles charity with conditions. A network that proves gifts of commerce can be delivered as equitably as real-world assets to economies around the world. What does this mean for the people laying awake tonight? It means tokenized assets that they can own, not rent. It means peer-to-peer value exchange can happen without intermediary fees and permissions. Or it means that I can move money on my timetable with my instructions without waiting for anybody else's trading day, to open and close. Economic infrastructure that doesn't require permission from banks who rejected them. Ownership models where their labor, their knowledge, their time, their value, their wealth, not merely someone else's profit. It means that the marketplace can become one of communion again, where we can step into as buyers and sellers, not nostalgic, not as someday, as now. So here's the choice on Christmas morning I want to give you. For the children of banking, money movement, and payments, the financial service workers who've been serving a system that you didn't design, you're just inheriting it. Do you see coal as a punishment and go back to sleep? Or do you see it as a wake-up call, an invitation? Do you walk outside to where the elves are building and say, "Teach us. We want to build with you. We want to design systems that don't create Grinches. We want to restore the marketplace as communion. We want every day for my team, my people, myself, to feel like the magic of Christmas. Not just the one day a year that we volunteer." For the Grinch, you extractive little system, you can keep counting your profits, but the elves are building alternatives, and eventually people stop participating in systems that steal their magic. For the extraction Santa, the unconditional charity complex in your mind doesn't exist. Those conditions, you can keep trickling money with terms and conditions. But people are waking up to the fact that charity with shame, that's not charity. It's control in a fancy box with a bow. And for the veterans, the foster youth, the single mothers, the second chance citizens, the homeless, the dirty, I see you. You are the Alice families. You've been told that you need better credit, more financial literacy. You've been told to work harder, to budget better. But what you actually need is a different system and people that see you. One that doesn't inflate prices faster than your wages. A system that doesn't offer credit as a trap. One that doesn't charge fees for being poor and having lack of confidence in how you manage your cash flow. One that doesn't lock you out when life gets expensive, but sees you and empowers you with the right products and services at the right time, with the right bumper rails on them so that you can't end up in the gutter. The elves are building that system, and it's not charity, it's infrastructure, and we're all going to have to learn it. On Christmas morning, the question isn't, who's been naughty or nice? The question is now, who's willing to build differently? Because the Grinch will keep stealing Christmas as long as we let him. The extraction Santa will keep trickling charity as long as we accept it. And the inflation will keep rising as long as the system is designed for extraction. But the elves, the decentralized builders, they're not waiting for permission. They're building protocols for sovereignty, networks for equity, tools for ownership, infrastructure for communion. And they're inviting all of us. They have been now for 17 years. That's how old Bitcoin is. They have invited all of us, bankers and builders, veterans and mothers and foster youth and Alice families, to that workshop. Not as charity cases, not as underbanked populations to serve, or charities charities to hand out free things too, as co-creators of the new marketplace. So let's finish the poem. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the land, the Grinch stole the magic with his cold stone hand. The extraction Santa trickled charity with shame, while families lay awake, hearts heavy with blame. But deep in the workshops, the elves built with care, new systems, new protocols, new ways to share. Not credit that traps, not fees that extract, but ownership, sovereignty, communion, in fact. So here's my gift to you this Christmas Eve. The elves have been building, it's time to believe that the marketplace lost can be found once more, with communion, not extraction, at its core. So Merry Christmas to the crispy, the tired, the weathered and worn. Your redemption is not charity, it's a new system being born. And to the children of banking still asleep in your beds, the coal is your wake-up call. The elves are ahead. Will you join them or sleep through the call? The choice is yours, but the magic is for all. This is Connie Davis with Unlocking Commerce and Business. Merry Christmas to you, everyone. May we all wake up tomorrow choosing to build differently. You see, the workshop doors are open, the elves are waiting, and the magic, well, that's ours to reclaim. If you liked this episode, please like it. Please share your comments, subscribe, and then pass it on to others. I'll be back next week with a message for New Year's Eve to usher us into 2026. That's the magic that's going to flow into the new year. I can't wait. Thanks for being on this journey. And stay tuned for more explorations of community voices out in the world coming right here to you. Thank you for listening to Unlocking Commerce and Business. If this conversation resonated, here's what you can do. Subscribe for weekly conversations with survivors, innovators, and change makers, building regenerative alternatives to extractive commerce. Share this episode with collaborators, partners, funders, and change makers in your network. The people ready for restorative commerce need to hear these voices. Drop a comment below. Tell us what patterns you're recognizing or what solutions you're building. We read every one. Commerce is everywhere, and healing extraction patterns inside our communities creates regenerative commerce outside. Like a lighthouse, we're here, exploring and cutting through fog, pointing toward what works. Welcome to the era of restorative commerce. Until next time, explore courageously, build sovereignly. You are the source and store of value. This is Connie Davis, signing off. Thank you for being here.